Story 1. I've been working at fitness centers for about 4 years now. Started as a front desk clerk while finishing my exercise science degree. Then became a personal trainer once I got certified. I love helping people reach their fitness goals, but what happened last month reminded me why proper orientation and following safety rules are so important. The gym where I work is a mid-sized facility in a busy part of town. We get all types of members: serious bodybuilders, casual exercisers, people recovering from injuries, and complete beginners. That's why we offer a free orientation session for every new member. It covers basic equipment use, safety procedures, and gym etiquette. Most people appreciate it, especially those who are new to working out. I was between training sessions last Tuesday when this woman came marching up to the front desk. She looked frustrated and was waving some papers around. "Karen, I need to speak to whoever's in charge about this ridiculous orientation requirement." Front desk staff: "Hi there. Are you here for your complimentary orientation session?" "Karen, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't need some teenager telling me how to use a treadmill. I've been to gyms before." Front desk staff: "The orientation is free and only takes about 30 minutes. It helps ensure everyone stays safe while using our equipment." "Karen, I'm not wasting my time on that. Just give me my membership card so I can start working out." The front desk person looked uncomfortable. "Our policy requires all new members to complete orientation before getting full access to the equipment area." Front desk staff: "I understand, but for insurance and safety reasons, we need everyone to complete the orientation first." "Karen, that's ridiculous. I'm paying good money for this membership. I should be able to use the gym immediately." Front desk staff: "Let me get a manager for you." The assistant manager came over. She's been working in fitness for over 10 years and usually handles difficult situations well. Assistant manager: "I understand you have concerns about the orientation requirement." "Karen, I don't have time for hand-holding. I know how to use gym equipment. This policy is just a way to waste people's time." Assistant manager: "The orientation covers our specific equipment and safety procedures. It's included in your membership at no extra cost." "Karen, I'm not doing it. Either let me use the gym now or cancel my membership and refund my money." The assistant manager looked at the paperwork Karen had filled out when signing up. Assistant manager: "I can see here that you initialed the section about mandatory orientation when you signed your contract yesterday." "Karen, I didn't read every single line of that thing. Nobody does." Assistant manager: "Well, I can make an exception this one time, but please be extra careful with the equipment. If you have any questions, ask one of our trainers." Karen: "Finally, someone with common sense." She grabbed her membership card and headed into the gym area. I watched her go, feeling a bit uneasy about skipping the orientation, but figured she'd ask for help if she needed it. About 20 minutes later, I heard someone yelling from the weight area. I rushed over and found Karen sitting on the floor next to the cable machine, holding her shoulder and looking angry. "Me, are you okay? What happened?" "Karen, this stupid machine is broken. I pulled something in my shoulder because it's not working right." I looked at the cable machine. The weight stack was set to maximum, and the cable was attached to the wrong pulley system for the exercise she was apparently trying to do. "Me, it looks like the weight might have been set too high, and this attachment is meant for a different exercise." "Karen, don't blame me. Your equipment is defective." "Me, let me help you with your shoulder. Do you need ice, or should we call a paramedic?" "Karen, I need the manager. This is unacceptable." The assistant manager came over after hearing the commotion. "Karen, your broken equipment injured me. I'm going to sue this place." Assistant manager: "Let's make sure you're okay first. Do you need medical attention?" "Karen, I need a refund for my membership and compensation for this injury." "Me, the machine was working fine. The weight was just set too heavy and the cable was set up for a different exercise." "Karen, are you calling me stupid? I know how to use gym equipment. Assistant Manager, this is exactly why we require orientation. These machines can be dangerous if not used properly. Karen, I don't want to hear about your stupid orientation. I want my money back, and I want a personal trainer assigned to me full-time at no charge. Assistant Manager, ma'am, that's not how our services work. Personal training is a separate fee. Karen, I was injured because your staff didn't help me. You owe me free training. Other gym members were starting to stare. Karen was getting louder and more aggressive. Karen, this place is a scam. You take people's money and then let them get hurt on broken equipment. Assistant Manager, the equipment is inspected daily and was working properly. You declined the safety orientation that would have prevented this. Karen, I want to speak to the real manager, not some assistant. The head manager came out of his office. He's a former Marine who runs the gym with military precision but treats everyone fairly. Manager, I understand there's been an incident. Karen, your gym injured me. I demand a full refund and free personal training to make up for it. Manager, let me see your membership agreement. He reviewed the paperwork she'd signed the day before. Manager, I can see here that you signed a liability waiver acknowledging the risks of using gym equipment. You also initialed that you understood orientation was required. Karen, I didn't know what I was signing. This is fraud. Manager, you declined the free orientation that would have taught you proper equipment use. Our trainer offered to help when he saw you were injured. Karen, your trainer was rude to me. He blamed me for the equipment being broken. I just explained how the machine works and offered to help with your injury. Karen, don't lie. You were condescending and unhelpful. Manager, ma'am, based on your behavior today and your refusal to follow safety procedures, I'm revoking your membership. Karen, you can't do that. I have a contract. Manager, the contract includes a clause about harassment of staff and following gym rules. You violated both. Karen, this is discrimination. I'm calling my lawyer. Manager, you're welcome to do that. Your membership is terminated effective immediately. Karen, fine. I'm going to destroy this place online. Everyone will know how terrible you are. She stormed out, still holding her shoulder dramatically. We thought that was the end of it. 2 days later, the manager called me into his office. Manager, did you see the Yelp review that woman left? He showed me her review. It was full of lies about broken equipment, rude staff, and unsafe conditions. She claimed we'd refused to help her and kicked her out for being injured. Manager, but look at this. He showed me his email. Karen had sent multiple threatening messages saying she'd post negative reviews everywhere unless we gave her money and free services. Her first email, I'm going to make sure everyone knows how dangerous your gym is unless you compensate me properly. Second email, pay me what I deserve or I'll destroy your business online. Third email, last chance before I go nuclear on your reputation. Manager, I'm going to respond to her Yelp review publicly. The next day, he posted a professional response to her review. He explained that she'd declined safety orientation, misused equipment despite offers of help, and then sent threatening emails demanding money. He included screenshots of her threatening messages. The response went viral in our local fitness community. People shared it everywhere, praising the gym for standing up to an entitled customer. Her fake review got buried under hundreds of positive reviews from real members who supported how we handled the situation. Karen tried to post on other review sites, but people recognized her story and called her out immediately. Someone even found her social media profiles and shared screenshots of her bragging about trying to scam businesses. A week later, one of our members told me something interesting. Member, hey, I saw that crazy woman trying to get into Gold's gym down the street yesterday. Really? Member, yeah, the staff there recognized her from the story and wouldn't let her sign up. Word gets around in the fitness community. It turns out she'd been blacklisted from most gyms in the area after our story spread. Her attempt to destroy our reputation had completely backfired. The whole experience reinforced why we have safety procedures in place. Equipment orientation isn't just bureaucracy, it prevents injuries and protects everyone. Karen's refusal to follow basic rules led to her getting hurt and then banned from multiple gyms in town. Our membership actually increased after the incident. People appreciated that we prioritize safety and don't tolerate harassment of our staff. Sometimes standing up to entitled behavior brings out the best in your community. Story 2. The Parking Princess. I work part-time security at one of the busiest grocery stores in town while I'm finishing my criminal justice degree. It's usually pretty routine checking receipts, helping with shoplifters, dealing with minor disputes. But what happened last Saturday was something I'd never seen before. I started this job 2 years ago because I needed flexible hours around my class schedule. My supervisor is a former police officer who taught me that most situations can be handled calmly if you just follow the rules and treat people fairly. The parking lot is technically part of my responsibility, though we usually only get involved when there are accidents or serious problems. Saturday afternoon is always our busiest time. The parking lot fills up completely, and people sometimes have to park pretty far from the entrance. We have a mix of regular spots and compact car spaces to fit as many vehicles as possible. Most people understand that compact spots are meant for smaller cars, but occasionally someone tries to squeeze a big truck or SUV into one. I was doing my usual walk around the perimeter when I noticed something ridiculous in the compact car section. This huge luxury SUV was parked diagonally across 3 compact spots. Not just badly parked, deliberately taking up 3 spaces so no one could park next to it. The worst part was the handwritten sign taped to the windshield. In big black letters, it said, "Do not park next to me. I value my car." I stared at it for a minute, trying to process what I was seeing. In 2 years of working here, I'd never seen anything so blatantly selfish. The parking lot was packed, with cars circling looking for spots, and this person had taken up 3 spaces for 1 vehicle. I walked back toward the store to find my supervisor and figure out what to do. Before I could reach him, this woman came out pushing a cart full of groceries. She was dressed expensively and walking like she owned the place. She got to her SUV and started loading her bags, completely ignoring the fact that several people were staring at her ridiculous parking job. One elderly man was particularly frustrated. "Elderly man, excuse me, why are you parked in 3 spots?" "Karen, because I don't want door dings on my car. This vehicle cost more than most people make in a year." Elderly man, "But people are looking for parking spaces. This is really inconsiderate." Karen, "I pay taxes just like everyone else. I have the right to protect my property." Elderly man, "Those are compact spots. Your car doesn't even fit in one of them properly." Karen, "That's not my problem. Maybe they should make the spots bigger." The elderly man shook his head and walked away. I decided I needed to intervene. "Me, ma'am, I'm store security. You can't park across multiple spaces like this." Karen, "Says who? Show me where it's written that I can't do this." "Me, it's common courtesy. Other customers need those parking spaces." Karen, "I'm a customer too. I spend a lot of money here, probably more than most of these people." "Me, I understand, but you're blocking 3 compact spots that other people could use." Karen, "Look at this car. Do you see how perfect the paint is? I'm not letting some careless person with a beat-up car scratch it." "Me, there are regular-sized spots further back where your car would fit better." Karen, "I'm not walking an extra 100 yards because other people can't park carefully." She finished loading her groceries and got in her SUV. I thought she was going to leave, but instead she just sat there with the engine running, talking on her phone. I went inside to find my supervisor and explain the situation. He came out to look at the parking job and shook his head. "Supervisor, this is a new one. She's clearly in violation of our parking policy." Me, "What should we do?" Supervisor, "Call the towing company. We have signs posted about improper parking." While I was calling the tow truck, more people started gathering around the SUV. The woman was still sitting inside, apparently unaware that she was causing a scene. People were taking pictures of her sign and the way she'd parked. The tow truck arrived about 15 minutes later. That's when things got interesting. The driver hooked up the SUV and started lifting it onto his truck. That's when Karen finally noticed what was happening. She came running out of the store screaming, "Karen, stop, that's my car. You can't tow my car." Tow truck driver, already got the order. Lady, illegally parked across multiple spaces. Karen, this is theft. I'm calling the police. Me, ma'am, there are signs posted about our parking policies. You were parked improperly across 3 compact spaces. Karen, I was protecting my investment. This car is worth more than you make in 5 years. Tow truck driver, that's nice. You can get it back from the impound lot. Karen, how much is this going to cost me? Tow truck driver, towing fee is $200, plus the impound charges. Probably around $400 total, maybe $500 depending on how long you leave it there. Karen, $500. This is insane. I was just trying to keep my car safe. Supervisor, you were taking up spaces that other customers needed. We had every right to have you towed. Karen, I'm never shopping here again. This is the worst customer service I've ever experienced. Supervisor, that's your choice, ma'am. The tow truck drove away with her SUV, while she stood there looking shocked. She had to call someone to pick her up, and I could hear her yelling into her phone about how unfair the whole situation was. The next week, my supervisor told me that Karen had called corporate to complain, but they backed up our decision completely. Apparently, she tried to demand that we pay her towing fees, but corporate told her that improper parking violations were clearly posted and enforced. The whole thing became a story that other employees shared for weeks. It was a perfect example of how being selfish and entitled can end up costing you way more than just being considerate in the first place. Story 3. The flea-infested return. I've been working at our local pet supply store for about 2 years now, ever since I graduated high school. It's not my dream job, but I love animals, and it pays the bills while I figure out what I want to do with my life. Most of our customers are great fellow animal lovers who just want the best for their pets. They ask thoughtful questions about nutrition, share cute stories about their furry friends, and generally make the job enjoyable. The store is family-owned and has been serving our community for over 15 years. We pride ourselves on being knowledgeable about pet care and providing quality products. Our return policy is pretty reasonable. We'll take back unopened items within 30 days with a receipt, and we'll work with customers on defective products even beyond that time frame. That Wednesday afternoon started normally enough. I was restocking the cat food aisle when I heard the front door chime. I glanced up to see a middle-aged woman walking and carrying what looked like one of our larger cat carriers. She had it gripped tightly with both hands and was walking with obvious irritation written all over her face. I finished what I was doing and headed to the front counter where my manager was helping another customer. The woman with the carrier was pacing near the register, clearly waiting for someone to help her. Me, good afternoon. How can I help you today? Karen, I need to return this cat carrier immediately. It doesn't work. She set the carrier down on our counter with a loud thud, and I immediately noticed several things that seemed off about it. The carrier looked like it had been through a war. There were deep scratch marks on the inside walls, clumps of gray and white fur stuck to every surface, and an unpleasant smell emanating from it. Me, okay? Can you tell me what the problem is with the carrier? Karen, my cat hates it. She won't stay in it, and it's completely useless. I want my money back. I looked more closely at the carrier and could see that it was definitely well used. The scratch marks were extensive, and there was so much fur inside that it looked like a cat had been molting in there for months. Me, I can see that your cat has definitely used this carrier quite a bit. Can I ask how long ago you purchased it? Karen, about 6 months ago, but that's not the point. It's defective. My cat shouldn't hate being in it. Me, ma'am, Cats typically don't enjoy being in carriers regardless of the brand or model. It's not really a defect, it's just normal cat behavior. They usually associate carriers with trips to the vet. Karen, that's ridiculous. If I'm paying good money for a cat carrier, my cat should be happy to use it. This one obviously doesn't work right. I was trying to figure out how to explain that her expectations were unrealistic when I noticed something moving inside the carrier. At first, I thought it might be more loose fur, but then I realized what I was seeing. Ma'am, are those fleas in the carrier? Karen, what? I don't know what you're talking about. I looked closer and could definitely see small dark specks jumping around inside the carrier. There were quite a few of them, and they were definitely fleas. I'm going to need to get my manager. This carrier appears to have a flea infestation. Karen, so what if it does? That's not my problem. I want my refund. My manager came over from where he'd been helping the other customer. He took one look at the carrier and immediately stepped back. Manager, ma'am, we can't accept a return on this item. It's clearly been used extensively, and it's infested with fleas. Karen, I don't care about any of that. This carrier is defective, and I demand my money back. Manager, our return policy doesn't cover items that have been used for 6 months, especially items that pose a health hazard to our store and other customers. Karen, health hazard? It's just a few fleas. Stop being so dramatic. As if to prove his point, I watched several fleas jump out of the carrier onto our counter. My manager immediately went to get some paper towels and disinfectant. Manager, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to remove this carrier from our store immediately. We cannot have fleas in our retail environment. Karen, I'm not leaving until I get my refund. This is terrible customer service. Manager, the carrier is clearly not defective. Your cat's behavior is completely normal, and the condition it's in shows that it's been used regularly for months. We cannot and will not process a return on this item. Karen was getting more agitated by the minute, and I could see other customers starting to notice the commotion. A woman with a small dog had moved to the other side of the store, probably worried about the fleas. Karen, fine. If you won't take it back properly, then I'll show you exactly what's wrong with it. Before either of us could stop her, she opened the latch on the carrier door. Immediately, what looked like dozens of fleas began jumping out onto our counter, floor, and nearby merchandise. Manager, what are you doing? Close that immediately. Karen, there. Now you can see what I've been dealing with. This carrier is obviously defective if it can't keep fleas contained. I grabbed the carrier and quickly closed the door, but it was too late. Fleas were already scattered across our front counter area, and I could see them jumping onto nearby pet food bags and toys. Manager, you need to leave right now, or I'm calling the police. What you just did was completely unacceptable. Karen, I'm not going anywhere without my refund. You sold me a defective product. Manager, the carrier isn't defective, your cat has fleas, and you've been using this carrier for 6 months without treating the infestation. That's not our responsibility. Karen, how dare you blame me? I take excellent care of my pets. The irony of her statement wasn't lost on anyone present. A customer who takes excellent care of their pets doesn't let a flea infestation get this bad. Manager, ma'am, you have 30 seconds to leave this store voluntarily, or I'm calling both the police and animal control. Karen, you can't ban me. I'm a customer. Manager, you just deliberately released fleas in our store. You're absolutely banned, and we'll be billing you for the cost of pest control and any damaged merchandise. Karen, you can't prove I did anything wrong. Those fleas were already there. Manager, we have security cameras that recorded everything, including you opening that carrier and releasing fleas onto our counter. I could see her face change as she realized the implications of what she'd done. The other customers in the store were staring at her with disgust and disbelief. Karen, this is harassment. I'll sue you for discrimination. Manager, you're trespassing now. Leave immediately. She grabbed the empty carrier and stormed toward the exit, still shouting about lawsuits and corporate complaints. As soon as she left, my manager locked the front door and flipped our sign to closed. "Manager, we need to call pest control immediately. This is going to be expensive." Over the next hour, we had to remove all the merchandise from the front area of the store and bag it for inspection. The pest control company arrived within 2 hours and confirmed that we had a significant flea problem that would require professional fumigation. The fumigation ended up costing us over $800, and we had to close the store for an entire day while they treated the space. Several bags of pet food and some fabric toys had to be thrown away because they couldn't be properly cleaned. My manager contacted our insurance company and our lawyer about recovering the costs from the woman. He also called the other pet stores in the area to warn them about her and describe what had happened. Pet store owner, thanks for the heads up. We actually had a similar incident with a woman matching that description about 3 months ago. She tried to return a dog bed that was completely destroyed and covered in hair. Apparently, she'd been making the rounds to different pet stores in the county, trying to return used and damaged items with increasingly ridiculous excuses. A week later, we reopened after the fumigation was complete. The first customer through the door was a regular who had heard about what happened through the local pet owner Facebook group. "Regular customer, I can't believe someone would do that. How is your flea situation?" Me, all clear, thankfully. Pest control did a thorough job. Regular customer, good. I saw someone shared the story online, and people are pretty outraged about it. Apparently, she's tried similar stunts at other stores too. I looked up the Facebook post later and found that someone had indeed shared the story of what happened. The comments were overwhelmingly supportive of our store and critical of the woman's behavior. Who tries to return a 6-month-old cat carrier full of fleas? That poor cat probably needs veterinary attention if the flea problem is that bad. I hope they prosecute her for the damage she caused to the store. My manager eventually heard back from our lawyer that we could pursue the woman for the fumigation cost and lost revenue from being closed. The security footage clearly showed her deliberately opening the carrier and releasing the fleas, which constituted property damage. About a month later, we received a check for the full amount of our damages plus our legal fees. Apparently, her lawyer had advised her to settle rather than go to court, probably because the video evidence was so clear. The incident taught me that some people have no concept of personal responsibility. Instead of dealing with her cat's flea problem, she tried to make it our problem by returning a carrier that had obviously been used for months. When that didn't work, she deliberately caused damage to our store out of spite. But it also showed me how supportive our community can be. Regular customers went out of their way to check on us, and several people shared the story to warn other pet store owners about her behavior. Sometimes the best response to entitled behavior is simply letting everyone know what really happened. Story 4. The Movie Theater Meltdown. I've been working at the Grandview Cinema for about 4 years now. I started as an usher when I was in high school, and now I'm an assistant manager. It's not the most glamorous job, but I like movies and the pay is decent. Plus, I get to see films for free, which is a nice perk. Most of the time, the job is pretty straightforward. You sell tickets, clean theaters between showings, help customers find their seats, and deal with the occasional spilled drink or lost phone. The customers are usually pretty reasonable, especially the regulars who come in for the matinee showings or the late-night releases. Working at a movie theater, you do see some interesting situations. People sneak in outside food, teenagers try to buy tickets for movies they're too young for, and sometimes couples get a little too romantic during the romantic comedies. But for the most part, people understand basic movie theater etiquette. You buy your ticket, find your seat, and watch the movie quietly. The theater has been pretty busy lately since it's summer, and there are a lot of blockbuster releases. We've been selling out shows regularly, especially for the evening showings. That means people need to buy their tickets in advance and show up on time if they want good seats. Last Saturday night was particularly busy. We had 4 sold-out shows running at the same time, including the latest superhero movie that everyone's been talking about. I was working the floor, which means I handle customer issues and make sure everything runs smoothly in the theaters. The 7 o'clock showing of the superhero movie was about an hour into the film when I heard loud voices coming from that theater. At first, I figured it was just some rowdy teenagers or maybe someone's phone going off. But the voices kept getting louder, so I decided to check it out. When I opened the theater door, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This woman was standing in the middle of the aisle, yelling at one of our ushers while the movie was still playing. The whole audience was trying to watch the screen, but she was completely disrupting everything. "Karen, I paid full price for this ticket. You need to rewind the movie so I can see what I missed." Usher, "Ma'am, I can't rewind the movie. It's a digital projection system, and there are other customers watching." Karen, "I don't care about other customers. I paid my money just like everyone else." I walked down the aisle toward them, trying to keep my voice low so I wouldn't disturb people even more. "Me, is there a problem here?" Karen, "Yes, there's a problem. I bought a ticket for this movie, and now I'm missing half of it because your staff won't help me." Me, "Ma'am, what time was your ticket for?" Karen, 7 o'clock. I looked at my watch. It was almost 8:15. Me, "The movie started at 7. It's been running for over an hour now." Karen, "I know what time it is. That's why you need to restart it." Customer from nearby seat, "Can you please keep it down? We're trying to watch the movie." Karen spun around and glared at the person who had spoken up. Karen, "Mind your own business. I'm dealing with customer service here." Customer from nearby seat, "Your customer service is ruining the movie for everyone else." Karen, "I have every right to get what I paid for." At this point, more people were turning around and shushing her, but she was just getting louder and more agitated. Me, "Ma'am, why don't we step outside so we can discuss this without disturbing other customers?" Karen, "I'm not going anywhere. I want to watch this movie from the beginning." Me, "I understand your frustration, but we can't restart a movie that's already in progress. There are 200 other people in here who have been watching since it started." Karen, "That's not my problem. I paid for a full movie experience." Another customer, "Lady, you showed up an hour late. That's your own fault." Karen, "Excuse me. Nobody asked for your opinion." Another customer, "We all bought tickets too, and you're ruining it for everyone." The situation was getting out of hand. People were getting annoyed. The movie was still playing, and Karen was showing no signs of calming down. Me, "Ma'am, I'm going to ask you one more time to step outside with me so we can resolve this." Karen, "I'm not moving until someone fixes this situation." Then she did something that really surprised me. Instead of leaving or even staying where she was, she started walking down the aisle looking for an empty seat. The problem was, the show was sold out, so there weren't any empty seats. She stopped at a row about halfway down and pointed at someone sitting in an aisle seat. Karen, "You, move over. I need to sit down." Man in seat, "What? This is my seat. I have a ticket." Karen, "Well, I have a ticket too, and I need somewhere to sit." Man in seat, "Then sit in your assigned seat." Karen, "My seat is way in the back, and I already missed an hour of the movie. I need a better seat to make up for it." Man in seat, "That's not how it works. This is my seat." Karen actually tried to squeeze into the row, like she was going to force him to move over. The man had to physically block her from sitting on him. Man in seat, "Are you serious right now? Get away from me." Woman next to him, "This is insane. Someone call security." That's when I realized this had gone way beyond what I could handle on my own. I radioed for my manager and security, while Karen continued trying to find somewhere to sit. Karen, "This is discrimination. I'm being treated unfairly because I was a few minutes late." Multiple customers, "A few minutes. You're over an hour late." Karen, "Traffic was bad. That's not my fault." Customer from back row, "Then leave earlier next time." Karen, "I shouldn't have to plan my whole day around your schedule." By now, my manager had arrived along with one of our security guards. The manager took one look at the situation and immediately tried to de-escalate. "Manager, ma'am, I'm the manager. I understand you're having an issue with your movie experience." Karen: "Finally, someone with authority. I want this movie restarted immediately." Manager: "I can't restart the movie, but what I can do is offer you a full refund and tickets to a later showing." Karen: "I don't want a later showing. I want to see this movie right now from the beginning." Manager: "Ma'am, that's not possible. There are other customers who have been watching since the movie started." Karen: "I don't care about other customers. I care about getting what I paid for." The manager looked around at all the annoyed faces staring back at him. People were starting to take out their phones, probably to record what was happening. Manager: "Okay, here's what I can do. I'll give you a full refund, plus 2 free tickets to any future showing, plus a concession credit. That's more than fair compensation." I thought for sure she'd take that deal. It was way more generous than she deserved, especially since being late was completely her own fault. Karen: "No, I want to watch this movie tonight, right now, from the beginning." Manager: "Ma'am, I've explained why that's not possible. I'm offering you the best solution I can." Karen: "Your solution is terrible. I'm going to sit down and watch this movie whether you like it or not." She tried again to push past the security guard and find a seat, but he blocked her path. Security guard: "Ma'am, you need to leave the theater. You're disrupting other customers." Karen: "I'm not leaving. I paid for a ticket." Security guard: "You can get a refund at customer service, but you can't stay in here yelling at other customers." Karen: "This is assault. You can't touch me." Security guard: "I'm not touching you, ma'am. I'm asking you to leave voluntarily." Karen: "I'm not going anywhere." The security guard looked at my manager, who nodded. Then he gently but firmly started escorting Karen toward the exit. Karen: "This is illegal. I'm being kidnapped. Someone call the police." As they reached the aisle, she started yelling even louder. Karen: "You people are all sheep. You're letting them steal your money too. This theater is a scam. Customer near exit. Good riddance." Karen: "I'm never coming back here again. Multiple customers, promise." When the theater door finally closed behind her, the entire audience burst into applause and cheers. People were clapping, whistling, and laughing. Someone even yelled, "Finally," loud enough for everyone to hear. The manager stayed for a minute to make sure everything was okay, then left so people could get back to watching the movie. But the mood in the theater had completely changed. Instead of being annoyed and frustrated, everyone seemed almost giddy about what had just happened. I found out later that Karen did try to demand her refund at the customer service counter, but she was still yelling and being disruptive. The manager gave her the refund just to get her out of the building, but she kept complaining about how unfairly she'd been treated. She also apparently tried to leave negative reviews online, claiming that the theater had discriminated against her for being late and that the other customers had ganged up on her. But anyone reading the reviews could tell from her own description that she'd showed up over an hour late and then demanded special treatment. The best part of the whole thing was that several customers came up to me and my manager afterward to compliment how we'd handled the situation. They said they appreciated that we'd prioritized the experience of the customers who had followed the rules over someone who was being unreasonable. One regular customer told me that Karen had actually tried to do something similar a few months ago during a different movie, but she'd left when people complained instead of making such a big scene. Apparently, this was part of a pattern for her. Since then, we've had to add her photo to our problem customer file, which means if she tries to buy tickets again, we'll be watching her extra carefully. But honestly, after the way she stormed out yelling about never coming back, I don't think we have to worry about seeing her again. The whole experience reminded me why I actually like this job most of the time. Sure, you get some difficult customers, but you also get to see how reasonable people react when someone tries to ruin their good time. That round of applause when she finally left made all the drama worth it.